Welcome to Seeker Sports. It is going into week 5, and the Colorado Oregon game happened. And Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, head coach, Colorado Buffaloes, every week after the games, coaches do a presser where they talk about the game. I wanted to just put this in there, talk about Coach Prime and comment on what he says. There are a lot of haters out there that don't like Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and I got to tell you, as a teenager, I watched Deion Sanders play in the NFL and baseball, and he was not liked by a lot of people. They didn't like his hype. They didn't like his tone. They didn't like his fact that he was a millionaire and flaunted it. But he was very good. He was very, very good. And, if someone wants to talk smack, as long as they back it up, I've never had an issue with it. So here's the presser on Colorado, Oregon. Obviously, Oregon spanked Colorado, and Coach Prime, was 3-0 coming into this game. And I never heard him say one time, hey, we're going to be 12-0 this year. He's only ever said, we come here to win, we come here to play, and I'm going to make sure that these players play at the best, and this program is its best, and I do my best. Your opinion doesn't matter. My opinion matters. I don't disagree with that. So here's what he has to say.
How's everyone? Can we close that, please?
He said, can we close that, please?
We got stats.
The door must have been open. Now he's looking for stats.
We don't none yet.
He don't have them yet. Oh, he got his phone out.
First and foremost, thank the Lord for allowing all
Thanks
this
God.
to transpire.
And somebody comes in with a nice
Good
phone
old-fashioned butt kicking.
with some
No
stats
excuses. No nothing. Their coaches did a heck of a job preparing
So right away, he's giving praise to the other coach. He's saying, we got our ass whooped. And it was a good old-fashioned butt kick.
their team. Obviously, we didn't. That was good. I mean, that was a really good old-fashioned butt kicking. We went into the game wanting to dominate several phases. We lost offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. That fake punt kind of got them really rolling, and they didn't stop ever since they secured that first down. Well coached.
And he knows right there momentum plays a key. If you know anything about football or sports in general, on a timed game, momentum is everything. Now in baseball, it's different. Baseball is not timed. Baseball goes by innings. But in football, you're racing against the clock, so he knows momentum's a big deal.
Team.
And I like that. I
Bo
think he's
Nix
good.
played his butt off. Defensively, they presented some things that I guess we just couldn't get around. We couldn't advance the ball, rushing or throwing the ball as well. Seemed like they had our number. But hats off to their coaching staff, to their head coach. Great job, and they're truly prepared.
And that's the sign of a competitor. Somebody who competes all the time, they know that a loss is bound to happen. I mean, unless you're Floyd Mayweather in professional sports, very rarely do you ever go undefeated all the time. And even the greatest coaches have a handful of losses. So Coach Prime knew it was going to happen eventually. I think it just happened a little earlier than he was planning.
No, you can't wipe the slate clean. You got to watch the film and evaluate. I'll do that on the plane, but I saw a lot of it live. Just players that weren't in position, that didn't do the job that we expected. You evaluate players, you evaluate coaches, you evaluate everything when it's a game of that nature. And you had no opportunity to win, period, from the kickoff on.
Brian, go ahead. Hey, Coach, you mentioned that the last couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
You guys aren't doing well.
Yeah.
Does something like this maybe hammer home that message to these players and say, see what happens when you don't do it?
No, you don't need to hammer home a player. A player knows. I mean, he could fool himself and trick himself, but when he looks at the mirror, he knows what he's looking at.
I like his
Something like
phrase
this
when he
I'm not
says,
going to say, people around the
"Look at
country
the
would say this is
mirror."
what they needed to humble themselves. We wasn't arrogant or whatever. We're confident people. If our
And I do understand why people say that he was arrogant, but sometimes confidence comes off as arrogance.
confidence offends your insecurity, that's the
Oh,
problem
well,
with
there
you.
you
It's
go.
not us. We expect to do well. We expect to play well. We expect to win every game we step out there. We expect to practice to perfection and go out there and execute.
I had a coach one time that said, "Practice makes perfect."
The things that we practice. We just didn't do it today. But it's not something that was needed. It's just like saying you get in a car wreck or something. Oh, he needed that to slow him down. You don't need that. That's just stupid. It's just something that happened, and they got the best of us today. That's just it.
Man, I agree wholeheartedly with that. It's like saying somebody needed a car wreck. That's a pretty good example, for sure. Coach knew that it will build them, but at the same time, a win would have been better in my book and in his book too.
Did it seem like Oregon was doing things you weren't prepared for? Or
No, no, no. It's not like it was we were being tricked. We knew everything was coming. Even after one of the TV timeout, we were saying.
And you know what's crazy? When he corrects himself on stuff like that, he's a professional. He's a well-educated individual, very educated. You ain't gonna slip nothing by Coach Prime, and he's gonna make sure that when he sees something needs to be corrected, it will, even in his own speeches.
Saying, they're going to take a shot. They're going to take a shot. They took a shot, scored a touchdown. I mean, sometimes your message just don't translate. You got to really get on the same page as the.
And I'm sure when they took the shots for the end zone like they did, I'm sure Coach Sanders was telling his staff, hey, check it out, be prepared, do what you got to do, but he can't do everything. And it really does come down to the players. The players really make or break the game, but good coaching can make a difference.
The youngsters is out there playing.
bottom line, what's the point is there?
And I like how he refers to them as youngsters.
No,
They really are.
definitely not. If we had a talent gap, we wouldn't be 3-1 right now. And it's not.
Now, I would like to talk about the talent gap. Colorado definitely has a talent gap when it comes to facing Oregon. And that it might not be an overall mismatch, although the score would tell you otherwise. I'm not saying that Colorado should have won this game or on paper should have won the game. The people in Las Vegas, the statisticians, and the people that know the algorithms, they know that based on those things that Colorado was going to lose. However, the element of surprise in college football sometimes changes things, but Colorado did not have an element of surprise this game.
The talent
That's
gap.
for sure.
You just got your butt kicked. It just happens sometimes. That's just like a fighter. You just got caught. It happens.
A fighter that
It's not
just
a
got caught.
Huge talent gap. I just think they played a really concise game. Penalties murdered us. I don't have the statistics, but I'm pretty darn sure we darn near doubled them in penalties. We don't usually we are really sound,
Yeah, penalties
fundamentally
are for sure.
sound team. We don't make foolish mistakes and implement
You can
danger
tell, and one thing that is true about his body language, you can tell he's frustrated.
or harm on ourselves. Field position wise, we just kept making mistakes. That's not indicative of who we are.
How much was Travis missed and maybe what was missed?
Travis always gonna be missed. He's the best darn football player in college football. How is he not missed? It's just like saying you write an article and your pen is missing.
I like the fact that he's
Well,
the reporter.
That's how much he
asked
means.
about Hunter. Travis
Yes,
Hunter.
go.
Of course he's missed. And maybe, maybe that would have made the difference. Maybe Hunter being there would have made all the difference as far as offense. Because if you think about it, if you're scoring points and you've got big plays and you can gain momentum, that affects the entire Oregon team. Now, it may not have affected the quarterback, may not have affected the offensive coordinator, but at the same time, it can make a difference in the game, the way the game's played.
I'm not gonna say that. You don't always have to get your butt kicked to learn. You can win and learn. I mean, that's not something to learn.
And I see what the reporters are trying to do here. It's almost like everybody was waiting for Colorado to lose. Uh, it's yeah, I think everyone, but nobody is approaching it any different in years past. So you got to forgive people for asking those questions because we always, when Alabama was big, the dynasty there, everybody was, like, oh, if they had a close game, they were saying some crap about it. Same thing with Colorado. And Coach Prime knew that there was hype, and he created a lot of that hype. And so basically, when everybody got on board with it, they were like, okay, well, first loss, we're gonna nail him. And that does happen in professional sports. And you can say what you want. College football is a money business. So,
It's something to glean from.
And glean. I like that. Glean. That means to gather up the leftovers. I like
It's
that.
not just the kids. The coaches are accountable too. We are all accountable. Let's start with me. We're accountable for this.
And again, let's start with me, boy. Anybody else taking accountability or responsibility, it is
It's not just the
going to be
kids.
Coach Prime.
The way we played, that really surprised me. We played like hot garbage. That surprised me. I didn't expect that.
And he's not saying that they did the best either. So, but as you saw, Coach Prime took full responsibility, and he didn't really give up any excuses to why they lost, other than they prepared really well. They just didn't execute. And in sports, especially at the top level, it comes down to that. So, hats off to Coach Prime for handling things well. I figured he would. The presser just really kind of shows exactly where he's at, and they got a tough game coming up this week versus USC. So, that's going to be another tough game. Oregon, USC, they're awesome teams, and Colorado, if boy, if I tell you what, we will do the presser next week if Colorado wins or doesn't win, just to see what he says. But y'all take care.